So this is a topic I've talked about extensively, and it's something that I truly love to talk about because when Xbox bought Zenimax, it truly turned the gaming world upside down. In one fell swoop, Xbox literally snatched up 8 AAA studios that make some of the most popular games around. Zenimax isn't just a game developer filled with crazy good talent, but they're one of the biggest publishers in the gaming world, and they regularly released 2 or 3 massive games a year. So yeah, when Xbox bought them, it was a huge deal because it brought 2 of the biggest publishers together to make games for what we thought was one platform. Well, at least that's what a lot of people thought when they bought Bethesda. And I'm one of those people that figured Xbox and Microsoft would make the games being made by Zenimax exclusive to the Xbox platform in general. That's until Xbox's CFO Tim Stewart had a recent interview where he talked about the Bethesda purchase and what that means for the Xbox platform along with the other platforms like PlayStation and Nintendo. Now, I want to be clear, this doesn't confirm anything, but it does make things a little murky when it comes to the exclusive side of the Zenimax deals. And it also shows that Xbox might be open to doing some certain things when it comes to Xbox Game Pass. Because we have to consider that Xbox did just spend $7.5 billion on Zenimax and all their studios. And while that's a massive purchase, what's even more expensive is actually paying salaries of these people in the studios and also making them a part of the Microsoft and Xbox family. So while the deal isn't done and a lot of what's being said is all political talk, so to speak, we should really pay attention to what CFOs and people like Phil Spencer are saying on the matter, because that to me is the most telling aspect of this whole thing. So let's get into this article and this interview because I think it shines a lot of light on the massive acquisition that Xbox just did with Zenimax, and it also helps pull this curtain back on what this means for people that play on Sony's PlayStation platform, and raises the question, will all of these games continue to come to the PlayStation platform, and will Zenimax truly act on its own even when they're a part of the Xbox family? Either way, let's get into all of this. But first, like always, if you like the video, hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. Alright, so I do have to say that a lot, and I mean a lot of people messaged me about this interview because I did make several videos about the Bethesda acquisition, and in those videos I did mention that Xbox will make those games exclusive once the deals with PlayStation 5's Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo were done with. I also said that games like Starfield will be exclusive because it's a great way for Xbox to truly push the Xbox Game Pass subscription service. I didn't really think this was a way for Xbox to sell more Xbox consoles. Instead, it's to sell more software and subscription services, which is what the CFO actually brings up in the interview. But before we get into all of that, we have to understand that all of these things that are being said from both Phil Spencer and the CFO of Xbox are subject to change. Because like I've pointed out multiple times, this deal isn't done yet. There's an agreed upon contract and they're getting everything in place to make it official. But this deal isn't closed until the beginning of the year in 2021. So everything being said and hinted at shouldn't be taken or looked at as concrete. Because to put it simply, they can't talk about it until the deal's done. But that doesn't stop people from asking about the exclusive deals and what this means for the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, which the article brings up here. Xbox CFO Tim Stewart has stated that future Bethesda games after Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop will come to other platforms such as PS5, but release first on Xbox and PC or be better on those platforms. Reporting from VGC confirms that Tim Stewart said that this would be the case at the Jefferies Interactive Entertainment Conference, which took place last week. Stewart highlights that. So first of all, I don't understand this concept of keeping games as a timed exclusive on the Xbox platform, because that just seems like a very different approach to what Xbox has done for the last several years. Not only do they not keep things away from other platforms, but they don't do that with any of their first-party games. Sure, they sign third-party deals, but nothing with their first-party games. Minecraft, which is one of the biggest games in the world, isn't kept on Xbox for a period of time. Instead, it's released on Sony because the game's so big it makes sense to do that. But other games like Fable, Halo, Gears, Forza, Avowed, and all the other games they announced didn't go on PlayStation and were never hinted to go there. Even massive games like Sea of Thieves, which has over 15 million players on the game, didn't go over to PlayStation. So this whole platform exclusive deal for a period of time sounds a little weird. Not to mention very confusing to a lot of people. It will just be bad press for Xbox if they did this, because everyone would continue to ask questions every single time a new Xbox game is announced. They'll be bombarded with question after question about the games coming to PS5. So let's get into what exactly Tim Stewart, the CFO of Xbox, had to say. What we'll do in the long run is we don't have intentions of just pulling all of Bethesda content out of Sony or Nintendo or otherwise, but what we want is we want that content in the long run to be either first or better or best, or pick your differentiated experience on our platforms. We will want Bethesda content to show up the best as on our platforms. Okay, first of all, this is the most cryptic explanation I've ever seen and really causes confusion for a lot of gamers. And I honestly think this is intentional because it doesn't paint a very different picture from what a lot of people figured the games would be like. A lot of gamers, including a lot of insiders, figured that Xbox would make Bethesda games exclusive. But they never said such a thing, and Phil Spencer himself said they'll take each game by a case-by-case basis, which to me meant they might bring certain games out to the PlayStation platform. Those games to me always felt like games like Fallout 76 or Elder Scrolls Online. Games that require a huge player base and would benefit from being on all platforms because they're online games. But as for the single player experiences Bethesda and Zenimax makes, those games would survive easily on the Xbox platform, because all those games will go on Xbox Game Pass, where Microsoft wants everyone to go and play games on. The subscription service is the goldmine Xbox created, and they want everyone, and I mean everyone, on that platform because they'll make a huge amount of money off of it, which is something that Tim Stewart talks about here. Yes, that's not a point about being exclusive. That's not a point about where being adjusting timing or content are roadmap. But if you think about something like Game Pass, if it shows up best in Game Pass, that's what we want to see. And we want to drive our Game Pass subscriber base through that Bethesda pipeline. So again, I'm not announcing pulling content from platforms one way or the other, Stewart continued, but I suspect you'll continue to see us shift towards a first or better or best approach on our platforms. Now, this is the type of thing everyone needs to pay attention to, because this is the most PR speak I've ever heard. Okay people, let's just get everything on the table real quick. First of all, Xbox can't speak about ZeniMax games and what they'll be like once the deal's done. They can't because the deal just isn't done. So they will never say, hey, games are going to be only on Xbox. They just can't say that because they don't have the legal right to do that as of this moment. Not to mention, it can hurt the sales of Ghostwire and Deathloop because people might not grab those games or even think about their games on the PlayStation console. A lot of deals and other contracts have been signed, so the PR speak needs to be on another level when it comes to the exclusive deals of Bethesda. But what I got from this is that Xbox is truly held back from talking about what they can do to Bethesda games. They're just waiting for the dust to settle so they can talk about what their plans are for the games and the future of the games. But we can be sure about one thing, and that's Game Pass will get all these games day and date, which is massive. But most of all, he mentioned that they aren't announcing pulling content from platforms one way or the other. That to me is almost the same exact thing Phil Spencer said when the acquisition was announced. But again, you have to pay attention to what they say. He suspects they'll continue to see them shift towards a first or better best approach on their own platform, which is that Xbox platform. To me, this says everything we need to know about this. It shows that they'll focus on the Xbox platform first and foremost. And I don't think it's going to be something like, oh, get this exclusive DLC only on the Xbox, or this exclusive character only on the Xbox. No, that doesn't seem to be the style of Xbox, and to be honest, I'm glad it's not like that. I have a feeling they'll have the games be exclusive. That's just what I think. But if they're not exclusive, that's great also, because the more people that play the games is awesome for gamers, and it's something that the article points out here. This is great news for fans of Bethesda titles who are looking to play the game on PS5. But it does raise questions about how well these games will be optimized for Sony's new console. For example, they might have fewer bugs and glitches, but the experience might also be fine-tuned for the new console, and features like DualSense haptic feedback and adaptive triggers, which are prevalent in Deathloop, may not be implemented at all. However, we are still a while away from this becoming a reality, with Starfield likely to be set the first game released for Xbox or PC first. So to close this all out, I don't believe that the games will magically run worse on the PS5. That sounds like a cash grab and honestly weird towards gamers. It's a blatant way for gamers to buy a certain game on a certain platform by putting out a lesser quality version of the game on another platform. That to me isn't going to happen, and if it does, that will be bad for everyone. If you don't want to put the game on PlayStation, then just don't put it on PlayStation. Just make it exclusive and put the games on PC, Xbox, and of course xCloud. And maybe that's what Stewart is talking about here, exclusive on other platforms. Maybe PC and xCloud and Xbox are all different platforms in the eyes of the people at Xbox, and that PS5 and Nintendo and other console platforms are going to be left out. It's anyone's guess at this point, and honestly, I can't wait to see what happens. But I do believe these games will be exclusive to the Xbox platform, and if they aren't, then hey, that's great also. Either way, the most important thing is that Bethesda and all those great studios under Xbox and Zenimax continue to make great games. No matter what the platform, I just want to play their games. But enough of what I think about all this, tell me what you think about all this. Do you think Bethesda games are going to be on the PS5, or will they be exclusive to the Xbox Series X? Why did Xbox buy Zenimax if they'll make the games multi-platform? Would this hurt Xbox Game Pass if they aren't exclusive to the platform? Which system would you buy the consoles on if you had a choice? Do you think Starfield is going to be multi-platform? Do you think all of this cryptic talking is due to the deal not being done yet? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support helps out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamertag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing, and let's compete in achievements for the month. Right now, I'm still playing Watch Dogs Legion on my Xbox One X. I'm just waiting for my Series X to come in, and once it does, I'm jumping into Valhalla and COD and all the other games that I have pre-ordered. I just need the new system to come in so I can finally install those games and play them at that high fidelity. But right now, I am enjoying Watch Dogs Legion. I really think everybody should check it out. It's a fun game, brutal, and just honestly, it's like having multiple classes when you switch people up. It's just a lot of fun. I recommend everybody check that out. But let me know what you're playing. Go down below. Are you playing on the PS5, the Xbox Series X? Are you playing new games, old games? Tell me what you're playing down below. I'd love to know. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.